Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Firestone Walker, man. It feels like a little bit of a Firestone Walker renaissance for me, in that I think I've reviewed like 4 of their anniversary-ish or barrel-aged jams over not too long a period of time. And, 2020. Anniversary ale, 24th anniversary ale, limited edition. Story time in the back. I'm sure we'll figure this all out in good time. We'll see what's what. Let's dive in. In the fall of 2006, brewer Matt Brindleson asked a handful of his winemaker friends for their input on blending. They talk about how they ended up doing their anniversary blend and how they all kind of sat and mixed a bunch of different Firestone Walker beers and ended up coming up with their anniversary blend. That's all they talk about back here. I don't want to take like a billion years to get into this. I'm guessing this is one of the older boxes, and that it still has a white paper inside of it, like almost like an actual white paper, scientific study white paper. Yes, it does. Actually tells you what's actually blended in this beer. So, I mean, all the pomp and circumstance that is Firestone Walker and their boxes and stuff. I just love them. Like, honestly, like, if you were to take this out of it, do I get this beer for, instead of $13-14, do I get it for $10? Probably, but there's something about this that kind of tickles me pink, so I'm okay with it. So, box is baller. Put that there. Bottle is fantastic. We'll put that there. Then we'll take our, like, I feel like a town crier here, about to announce very important news. Basically, what they do is they give you this sheet, and they talk about, like, you know, what's involved, how, about the blending, what they did. On the back here, a note from Firestone Walker quality manager and brewing orchestrator director Amy Cook about their processes and all that fun stuff. Matt Brindleson chimes in, the blend, yada, yada, yada. Let's get to the guts of this, which is what's in this actual beer. Because their anniversary blend is basically, you know, they take some of their heavy hitters and blend them together, and they take that aforementioned group of people and they all taste the blendings and pick which one they like the best. So what do we have here? We have Velvet Merkin. Aged in bourbon barrels is 27% of this beer, so the largest portion of this beer. Sticky Monkey, just behind it, 26% is aged in bourbon barrels. It's a quad. Parabola, Russian Imperial Stout, 16%. Smoked Imperial Walker's Reserve. Robust porter brewed with beechwood smoked malt. A little bit of Rausch in this sucker. At 16%. Bravo Imperial Brown Ale, bourbon barrels, and their tequila barreled Eldorado. It's a blonde barley wine and tequila, 4%. So not a big get there, but yeah, could bring some interesting stuff to the mix. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Goodness. I mean, Firestone Walker's barrel age program it's up there. So we're expecting the best. Definitely not expecting the worst. I threw that in there like a maniac, and I got a very nice head out of it. Label-wise, again, some of my favorite labels in the game. This one's quite a bit of a departure from, I mean, the shape and all that's the same, and the font styles and all that stuff, but it doesn't have that kind of, you know, bear lion. You have one on this side, one on this side. It's usually a bit more prominent. There's a little bit more kind of toned downishness on this label. And I dig it. I'm here for it. Anything in particular on this label we can call out? Special Reserve Barrel Aged Blend. Always keep refrigerated. Fair enough. I picked it off the shelf and it was definitely not refrigerated for years. That's all we get. We're okay with it. Beer-wise, it had a beautiful head when I poured it. Dissipated pretty quick. Give it a whirl. Comes back with spades. How I like my coffee to look like color head with this just rich, non-stout, almost like, again, like more like Belgian quad, Belgian darky kind of vibes to it. Like I said, it has that kind of rich coffee, like I like my coffee to look. I'm talking about cream and 2 sugars kind of thing going for it as far as looks. Carbonated well. It's good news. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the biggest two well, I would say the biggest 3 points on this beer is Velvet Merkin, Milk Stout, their quad, what was it again? Sticky Monkey, which is their quad, and the Spirit barrels involved here. Very much, this beer is very much all those portions of the show here, because I get this kind of milk stouty kind of richness, a little bit of sweet kind of confectionery, but then I get this little bit of, like, you know, not raisin, fruit bready, fruit roll, what's that thing that everybody hates when they get in Christmas? Fruitcake. Fruitcake kind of vibe to it that I think is absolutely a beautiful aromatic and taste when it comes to like a Belgian Dark, Belgian Quad. You're getting that in here. Barrel plays a huge role. Tons and tons of vanilla. Tons and tons of like toffee, vanilla, a little bit of marshmallow, a little bit of coconut vibes. Oh man, it smells so good. But on the outside of that barrel, and outside of the Spirit, which the Spirit has a little bit of kind of like I don't want to say genericness because it's very much kind of prominent here. It's very much kind of like all these are bourbon. Except for there's that one tequila portion of the show here, and I feel like there's a little bit of hotness in there. I think it's coming from the tequila, even though it's like 4% of the beer. It's an amalgamation. Words, big words, nickel-worthy words of all those beers, but in a very coherent fashion. I think that's what they kind of talk about on the box. They talk about in here. It's not so much we're just slapped a bunch of beers together. There's very purposeful, meaningful blending going on here. And that comes off, at least in aromatics. You know there's a lot of different hands or fingers or, cooks in the kitchen kind of at play here when it comes to what's going on with the beer. But it smells very much, well, there's individual pieces that you can pick out of it that smells very much cohesive. Cohesive? Man, words are hard. A lot of cohesion. There you go. I'll frame it that way. And it comes off as like a really beautiful, like super complex barrel-aged big old beer. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. It's tasty. It's very much tasty. Undersweetened for what you would think it would be. What was it again? 12 and change? 11.3. Undersweetened. It's a sweet beer. I'm not going to say it's not sweet, but it's undersweetened for what you would think you would get aromatically. Tons of chocolate in this thing. Like varying different levels of chocolate. A little bit of milk chocolate, a little bit of baker's chocolate, a little bit of semi-sweet chocolate, a little bit of cherry cordial kind of grandma candy chocolate. A lot of chocolate in this thing. Definitely a bit of vanilla and coconut. Definitely a decent amount of vanilla and coconut, and not just a bit. A ton of oak. So you're getting a decent dryness off of this. I think it's actually a combination of oxidation and oak. Oxidation in a positive way. I like this. This is not like blow my doors off. This is the best Firestone Walker beer I've ever had kind of vibe. Full disclosure, I reviewed a Firestone Walker barrel-aged beer last night, and that thing blew my doors off, so maybe my perception of what this should be is a little bit askew, because that one kind of really just kind of, again, took my breath away. I'll post them both in the same day. It was their double DBA, let's put it that way. But I like this. There's like almost like a little sneaky reserve thing to it, to where it drinks super easy, but you know it's a big beer. It has this lush, super silken mouthfeel to it. It's just, you're talking about a beer that's, essentially 4 years old. Has a lot of stuff going on with it. That's their anniversary thing, where they do all that blending. I think the 2021, 2022 I reviewed not too long ago was kind of blew me away a little bit more in this beer as far as a knee-jerk reaction. But there's something super adulty about this beer. Something super adult candy about this beer. Like when I used to do my beer reviews back in the day, I always referenced adult candy bars a lot. And I think that analogy still plays today. I just don't bring it up as much. And I always reference my mother, because my mother, whether she liked it or not, she kept adult candy in the house, because her kids wouldn't eat it and she would get to eat it. Score Bar was the adult candy that I referenced more often than not. If you've never had Score Bar, it's like a crack, almost like a, what's that? Oh, what's that thing? Fiddle Faddly, breakable middle, like a caramel center, but it was very fragile, crack very easily, wrapped in chocolate. The chocolate was very much kind of like a semi-sweet baker's chocolate, so it wasn't all milk chocolate, so, you know, us kids wouldn't steal it. It's kind of the vibes I get from this, that it has this, like, refined, kind of elevated version of a Firestone Walker kind of anniversary beer that's a little bit more adulty, a little bit more kind of, not for the just give me all the sweet and give me all the candy, because that belongs to us kind of pastry stout crowd. Not that they wouldn't dig this, but it just has this, again, kind of mature, makes weird noises, mature kind of level of sweetness and complexity to it that I really, really dig. Maybe I'm kind of setting myself up here as like, kind of like the person I'm making fun of, but it just lacks that little bit of wowness for me to get like ultra gaga about it. But maybe I'm that person I'm talking about. Maybe I'm that person that doesn't appreciate the nuanced, complex kind of adult candy like kind of thing. I just want that sweet on sweet on sweet. I don't think that's the case. Listen, that Firestone Walker I gushed about last night when I reviewed it, yeah, it was a tannic, tea-like, bittering English barley wine. So I don't think I fall into that category, but maybe I do. But it's, again, we're almost holding this up to like a, I don't want to say like God-level respect, but it's like Firestone Walker, you know? It's their barrel age program. It's their anniversary beer. It's like I expect perfection. I expect it. And we're damn close here. It's just got a little bit of wavering nuances that aren't absolutely 100% perfect for me. So I guess that means it's hot garbage. Jokes. It's still just a fantastic beer. The only thing I'll say about it is price point. I mean, the one I reviewed last night, again, it was $10. I gushed over it. I had no problem with that price point. This one, $14. I really enjoy it, but that price discrepancy, that's where I get a little bit kind of like, man, I wish this was a $15 bomber instead of a $15 12-ounce beer. It's today's beer world, so I understand. But in a grand scheme of things, absolutely fantastic beer. Is aged, I believe, quite nicely, because I don't think it was all that showy to begin with. So does it age better over time? I don't know. But I dig the blend, and I like what the cut they took on it. And I'm glad I picked it up. You know, I wanted a barrel-aged beer. I'm sitting here, Game 2, World Series. The Yanks are getting beat. Got beat horribly last night. Not happy. But, yeah, still looking towards the positive. And this is absolutely a positive beer. So, let's wrap this up. Yeah, is it one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? Absolutely. Mount Rushmore status, it's worthy. If I didn't have last night's beer, I might even eke it on there, but that one keeps it out. So, up there. Value and availability. Like I said, these anniversary beers tend to skew a little bit pricier. The place I bought this from tends to skew a little bit pricier in general, so maybe it's a little combination of both, but, you know, $13, $14 for something like this. You know, if it was a bomber and you gave me 16, I'm cool with it, but at 12 ounces, at 14, it's a little bit and leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like barrel-aged beer, like even with this kind of like subtle, like negative tone to my voice talking about this beer, it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm super glad I bought it. And if you like barrel-aged beers, you will dig this. So there you go. Review in the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Firestone Walker. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? Twist for you. Instead of saying, what's your favorite Firestone Walker beer? Have you been to Firestone Walker Invitational Festival? That's bucket list stuff for me. I want to get to it. If you've been to it, talk about it down there. Force me to go. Let's talk about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of barrel-aged deliciousness right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.